All right, everyone, we are back for episode 16 of Stub Luv Live. And I've got a great guest on. I've got one of the OG ticket collectors coming on. He's a pretty big deal. I see him coming on here, Jamie Burzynski. Let's get him on. There he is. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much. Happy to be here.
All right, I'm happy to have you on. So Jamie Burzynski's on tonight. He has 22 Bulldogs cards on Instagram, and he is an old school OG ticket collector. I want to thank people for tuning in. I saw Papa Jim on. Papa Jim's the man. I saw Scott Foraker on. You know, we've got GH5 Collection on. We got Tom Daly I see in the house. Thank you for coming on tonight and listening to Jamie preach a little bit about tickets, because he's someone that's got a lot of knowledge. So Jamie, talk to us a little bit. Tell us how you got started collecting tickets.
Well, basically, I attended all kinds of sporting events when I was young, and my dad was a high school baseball coach for 34 years. So I was lucky enough in 1998, that would have put me at 23 years of age, and we lived 2 hours from St. Louis. And my dad had a pass, being a high school baseball coach, that we could go to any Cardinals games that we wanted to, and we get in for free. So that's how it started, was basically just going in there and seeing Mark McGwire and getting tickets from those games. So I had some tickets, but some of them I could just get on a pass and then sell that stub or that full ticket.
So back when you were 23, did you have all that gray hair and those
Oh boy, I've
glasses?
got a twin brother. He still doesn't have the gray hair, I tell you.
Well, that's cool. So growing up in I guess outside of St. Louis, St. Louis baseball is about as big as it comes in this country. So I guess you kind of were privileged to get to see what I would consider to be, one of the greatest, I'd say, seasons in baseball history. Would you agree, Jamie?
Oh, I loved it. I got to see, even though I was 2 hours away, I saw basically from 62 on every home run that he hit at home. So
Wow.
I was there for that. So that was just, the park was just really electric. I mean, I've been lucky to go to playoff games and then later World Series games, and I equate it to that. It's just every time he would come up, it's pretty exciting. I think the pitcher had a lot of pressure to throw a strike, and he was just in a groove there for that last week and pretty much throughout the season.
Yeah, I agree. I see we got Ticket History on. We got Chase on. I see we got Cherokee Ferguson on. I'm excited that all these people are joining us tonight. So, Jamie, I know, because I know you, that you've got an amazing collection of tickets. Tell everyone what your focus is.
So basically, even from I got into tickets in '98 and didn't have a lot of money. I'm a 23-year-old, just got out of college, and was going to get married the following year. So I sold some of those McGwire tickets, and even at the time, they were going 200, 250 a pop. And then from then, I thought, I want to get into the vintage. I didn't really care about the modern stuff. So I sold those and bought just old Cardinals World Series tickets. And what I mean by old, 60s, they had, 64, 67, 42, 43, 44, something like that. And if I was lucky enough to find a 26 or a 28, even in '98, I would buy that, and that would be something that I would keep or resell and just kind of replenish. So I've enjoyed this hobby and seeing people come into it for the last, 26 years.
So would you say that one of the focuses of what you collect and then what you buy and sell are vintage World Series tickets?
Absolutely. I knew from a start that I couldn't collect everything. and tried to at times. You know, I thought about doing the 1961 Maris home runs, for example, because I saw that done with the Cardinals. But I would basically just buy World Series tickets because I knew that genre, and it was easy. You know, they're still, in my opinion, we may talk about it later, I still think they're super rare. If you get a World Series ticket in the 40s on back, they're rare. I mean, you can go to the National and not see but a handful here and there. So I knew I didn't want to, you know, just try to pick out the regular season games and go chasing something that I may never be able to complete.
I know that you're a big seller on eBay. You've got a big store on eBay where you sell a lot of tickets, but you're also a perennial dealer at the National, correct?
Yeah. I was privileged enough to set up at the National last year, and I had done it probably 7 years prior. But I go to the National. It's in Chicago and Cleveland every time for probably about the last 10 or 12 years. I really enjoy that. And when I set up probably 10 or 12 years ago, people would just look and it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this many tickets existed. There wasn't a lot of people collecting it at the time. They would just be in awe that here, you know, 100, 150 World Series tickets from 50s, 60s, 40s that are sitting in one display case. So, but just getting to know people like yourself, I got to meet you at the last National. It's just awesome.
We like meeting your dad a lot more than we like meeting you, to be honest. He's a great guy. But you had a great setup at the National last year. I know you were busy like from beginning till end. Is that fair, Jamie?
Yes, I thought there were a lot of people looking and asking questions and just still learning about the hobby. And that's the thing is you never know what ticket's going to pop up. And I'll show you some finds that I've had even in the last, you know, couple months or year that I wasn't even searching for those tickets. But when you are a sports fan, you know what's happened. And when you see that, it's like, oh my gosh, that's rare. I want to have that. So primarily I keep all my Cardinal stuff. I've kept that for the last 7 to 10 years. But man, I'm finding some other golf or, you know, other stuff that it's hard to get rid of that when you find something you really like.
Well, you start to tease us. You say you brought some stuff. You're gonna show some stuff. So show us.
Okay, well, for example, one of my collections that it's probably been 15 years that I've worked on this collection is a 3,000 hit club collection. So it started out, and this is probably the only ticket that I've had run, but this is Pete Rose, and he autographed that for me. It's the only ticket I've had bleed, to be honest with you, so I'm going to have to get probably a full of that one. But when you get more rare of them, this one's a little bit more rare because it's Brock with it's a PSA 5. Can you see those okay?
Yeah, you could if you could put it a little closer, but yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little glary, but if you could, yeah, it looks good. Yeah, we can see them.
I've got them in a little bit of, and then this one's super rare. It's not as desirable probably as some of the other ones, but this is the K line.
That's a toughie, yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's maybe 5 or 6 of those. There's not very many. I know it's under 10. And then you get to Mays, Willie Mays.
That's a dynamite one. Yeah, that's amazing.
And then you've seen a few of these because they're more plentiful, but it's one of the best ones. There's my Clemente.
Just because I think, you know, I was talking to Sean Doherty about this yesterday because I knew you were coming on and you told me, give me a little preview. We were talking about 3,000 hit tickets and he was like, you know, the Maze is so rare. It's so tough. It's a great ticket if you're a milestone guy. You know, someone just said, which Maze version? Do you see that, Jamie?
Show it again. It looks like it says lower stand reserve $3.
I think he may mean did it include the
Oh,
Negro
no.
League games or not?
It did not include the extra games. This is just the MLB.
Yeah, I think that's a better ticket in my mind. But Sean and I were talking a little bit about that Clemente ticket, and just because, you know, Clemente passes away, it's his last hit. It's 3,000, and that was it, and we didn't really get to see Clemente anymore. It's kind of unique and stands on its own, but it's a great one. It's an amazing ticket.
Here's the other one that's super rare. So I've only seen two of these, I think, in the 20 years, because I'm a Cardinals fan. So I think there's 5 of them that exist, and that's the Musial.
Mm.
And
What
I
year
think
is
I have the
that?
highest grade. It's a 3. So
What year is that, Jamie?
it's 1958. He did it against the Cubs, and it's a really small ticket. And I'm sure, it meant something then, because I actually have a Type 1 photo of that hit. So I mean, it meant something. They made a card in '59 of the 3,000 hit, and that's what that photo looks like. I think my photo was from the Tribune, but so it meant something back then. But it's such a small ticket. I'm sure a bunch of them got tossed out. Which I've said it before, but when you're looking at rarity of tickets. Also, if it was played on the road, I mean, there would be a lot more Stan Musial fans that are probably going to keep their ticket if that game was at St.
For
Louis.
sure.
So
Yeah.
a lot of them get tossed out.
Jamie, before you share more, in all the years you've been doing it, how many of those have you seen? Just that one?
I think there's 2. That one, and I knew where it was, and I finally got it. And then I think one other just raw ticket, at auction or something like that. I don't even know who owns another one, to be honest. There probably is some on the PSA set registry, but
Hey guys,
um,
he's not selling it. Don't call him.
no.
Don't
This
message
is
him.
that's the thing is, I actually went in my safe deposit boxes, so I've had fun going through the 3 safe deposit boxes in the last 2 days and like doing a better inventory. But that's where I keep a lot of my stuff, and it's just, I know if I get rid of a lot of this stuff, I'm just never going to get another one. So
Never
that's
see
the
it
way
again.
it is. Never see it
Yeah.
again. So
What
this
else
is
you
what they
got
do.
there?
This is what they did with passes before. I don't know if they still would label it that way, but that was the only way I could get the 3,000 pass for Speaker and Collins. That's 1925. Again, I'd rather have if I could find, a regular, uh, the regular team pass instead of the baseball writers pass. I'd rather have that. And then the big one that I have is the Aaron. So the Aaron's pretty tough, but I got this one, so I was pretty proud of that one.
Ooh,
And it graded an
ooh.
8.
That's
So
an 8,
that's an 8.
and it's
PSA
a
8.
full.
Yep. So
Ooh,
yeah.
that's a heater.
Yeah, I was happy to be able to acquire that one.
How
So
many fulls are in the pop report, Jamie?
2. I think there's a
Mm.
3 and then that 8. And then
Wow.
there's probably less than 10 stubs, to be honest with you, or somewhere around there.
Wow. Those are amazing. That's a great run. Is there any that, you kind of feel like are obtainable that you want that you haven't acquired yet?
Uh, as far as 3,000, I don't think there is, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. They could probably help me out, but it would have to be a pass that's a baseball writer's pass. But, you're getting back to, I don't know,
Wait.
a Wayner ticket or something.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
but I don't know that they exist. There may be one of something, but these are pretty much the ones that I know exist that I have. So
Wow. It's a great run, great collection. Getting back to World Series tickets, just, I know that you are expert in kind of knowing Babe Ruth's home runs, what years, what
sure.
games. I know you can also kind of quote it when it comes to Mickey Mantle too. Am I right,
Yep,
Jamie?
that is correct.
So
So used to be in 98 to probably 2010, people would list tickets. So 88 game one, everybody knows is a Gibson ticket. A lot of times it just got listed as an 88 game one or 68 game one Gibson K ticket, or the 63 game one Koufax, or the 54 game one Mays catch. All those things that now used to be, okay, that's a 54 Giants ticket, because it'd be a home. But yeah, the Ruth run. I can show you some of these. Again, these aren't for sale. Um,
wait. Before you show us, it's kind of the version of talking dirty to us in the ticket world. Do the do the Ruth years and the home runs. I mean the games and the
okay,
years.
so there's 21 game 4, and then there's 23 game 2, 23 game 6, 27 game 3, 27 game 4, 28 game 4, which he hit 3, and I missed the 26s. There's 26-4 and 26-7. He hit 3 and 26-4 and 26-7. So I've always loved the 26-7 game because it's a Ruth home run game, and it was a Cardinals clincher game too. And you know, they won by 1, and he basically got tagged out trying to steal second. So kind of neat way to end the World Series for a Cardinals fan.
For sure. Now you get me hot. You get me hot, Jamie. Do the mantle for us. Do the mantle for us.
Mantle, I may miss one, but I know them all very easily. It's 52-6, 52-7, 53-2, 53-5, 55-3, 56-1, 56-4, 56-5, 57-3, 58-2, 60 game 2, game 3, and you get to 63, it's game 4. 64 is 6 and 7. I may have missed one. There's 16 of them, 18 home runs.
That's good stuff, man.
We didn't even rehearse that.
No.
How'd you know I'd know that?
No, I knew you knew that. That's for someone like you, man. I knew that. All right, show us what you got there. Show us.
Okay, so I'll show you the Ruth home runs. The 23s are super rare, and then I mean I consider them all to be rare. You know that. This is a 23 game 2. That's his second home run. I do not have the 21-4 like a lot of people. I've had one the whole time I've been collecting, and I can tell you about that afterwards because it's a neat story. Here's the 23 game 6. That is the audit portion. I actually have another portion. It's in my Yankees clincher run. This is the 26 game 4, which is the Sylvester game.
Mm-hmm. That's a great ticket.
Here's my Cardinals, 26 game 7. That's a 4. It's really pretty sharp.
Yeah. Wow.
And then 27-3, Murders Row, 27-4 clincher. And here's the called shot.
Yeah, just the called shot. Little called shot.
Yeah, but almost everybody that comes on shows the called shot.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah, well, I still love it. So Jamie, talk to me a little bit. I mean, relative to ticket collecting, like what have you seen over the years? Talk to me about the growth of ticket collecting. Was it more fun collecting 10 years ago, or is it more fun now that ticket collecting is a little more mainstream?
I think it's more fun now. It's definitely a lot more competitive. But it was frustrating to go to those nationals and only see a handful of tickets. And that's the truth. You would go to nationals even 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you'd have 1 or 2 dealers that had them, and they just have, just a few. I might pick up something. It would be, but most of the time I was just going there to visit with people. And now you get to see some amazing stuff. And it seems like as more people get into it and the more the values go up, you see more in the auction houses. We kind of went through the same thing. The other thing that I collect is Type 1 photos. And we went through the same thing with that, these collectors, they would get something nice and then they wouldn't want to sell it to see any incremental values to get more people. They would just kind of keep going, and they say, "Well, you sell yours," and no, we don't want to sell ours. But it was the same thing, and then it kind of took off, and I think it's had a different run here the last 2 or 3 years, where all the older stuff and all the stuff that you would say is quality just dries up, and you just don't see it again.
I know. So, Jamie, what are you still missing? What are the grails that Jamie Burzynski needs for his PC?
One I've been looking for a long time is the first no-hitter for Ryan. I've got all the other ones. Another run I did was the Jordan. I do all the Jordan NBA Finals tickets. I need one. You probably know what it is. I just haven't paid the money. There's one on eBay right now. I probably won't buy that one. But it's a blue game. So I didn't even think about that being a big deal at the time, but I've been collecting it for so long.
It's overrated anyhow, Jamie. You can pass on that.
Well, Coach Sloan, I'm from Illinois, but Coach Sloan grew up in my little hometown of McLeansville, Illinois, population like 4,000 people. So when I was, when all that was going on, 97, 98, I was a Utah Jazz fan because I knew Coach Sloan pretty, I knew him and knew his son and stuff. So,
Um,
uh,
when it comes to overrated tickets, Jamie, what's your thought on what's overrated in today's market?
what I believe is overrated, and I don't see them having it as much. It doesn't happen as much, but these new debut tickets of just any old major leaguer that comes out, and people are wanting a couple $100 for them. And I mean, I've collected baseball cards for a long time. If I could pick who was going to be worth a lot of money or who's going to be really, really good, I mean, that's difficult to do. I mean, it may be a little bit easier in basketball, but you've seen these debut tickets where who knows how many's there.
Yeah.
I think that's overrated.
What about the other side? What about the flip side? What's underrated in your world?
Well, I haven't capitalized on it, but I honestly think as hot as Jackie Robinson is now, I think he's still probably underrated. You can buy some World Series tickets that he played in a game, and they're still a couple $100. But to me, if you ask any of these younger kids, they're going to know who Jackie Robinson is over Babe Ruth. I mean, we're going to get really close to that, where he's taught in history a lot more, and I think he's still underrated for what he went through and how good a player he was, and was on some really good teams.
I agree. Let's ask you this: what's probably been your biggest regret in selling a ticket that maybe you wish now you hadn't sold?
I'm probably 21 game 4 because I'd have this run completed. But at the time, I sold it in 2010, to be honest with you. But I the funny story was I probably bought it in 2007 or 8, and I remember this because it was in Clean Sweep Auctions is still there. Well, they had a store, and they still do have a store, I think, but they had that ticket in their store. And talking about people not knowing what happened in particular games, that ticket during that time, I think I bought is either $300 or $400.
Wow. Wow.
In their stores, anybody could have looked at it or whatever, and they thought, but they didn't differentiate, or a lot of collectors didn't. They were just trying to collect the World Series. There was a 21 World Series ticket, and that's what it was worth.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. So we've kind of talked about tickets you regret selling. What do you think? You think that would be it? That Ruth ticket, the luckiest find in your world of hunting for gold?
Yeah, there's always stuff out there. That's the thing is I picked this up not too long ago. It's going to be hard for you to even tell what it is, but it's kind of beat up, and it came with a few other ones. But what that is 1924, and it's from Marion. It says Cricket Club there in Pennsylvania, but that was Bobby Jones' first amateur win, and this is his Sunday ticket during match play. So that's what I'm saying. This wasn't even on my radar, but when I see it come up, I'd never seen another one. So
That's an
awesome.
eBay find. That's an auction find.
That was an auction find.
Okay.
That was an auction find, more of an obscure auction. But again, they just listed it as 1924 National Amateur Golf Championship, and you got to if you know history or think, well, that's got to be close to that time.
Wow.
Bobby Jones.
That's a big one.
I was pretty excited to see it.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure you are. So what's your plan for Cleveland for this year's National? When are you setting up, and what are you bringing? And are you starting to get excited or not?
I'm excited about it. I mean, it's a good time talking with people and individuals, and just like when you're having these lives and you see what other people are interested in or what they collect and all that things. To me, that's what it's all about. So I'll bring a lot of World Series tickets. Is probably what I'll bring. A few autograph tickets, because I really collect a lot of those anymore. I buy the tickets, and I know the rarity of the tickets, and then get somebody that I really like to autograph them. So a lot of those are in my collection as well. But just bring a lot I do a lot of World Series, NBA Finals. I don't do many regular season games, so I don't have many of those at all.
You had a tremendous display in Chicago last year. You had some amazing stuff. Um, and it was a pleasure going over there, talking to you, looking at the stuff that you had on display.
Well, thank
Is it too
you.
early yet to have like locations, Jamie, or they haven't given
I
you that
don't know the
yet?
location. I'm actually with a friend from Southern Illinois, so was lucky enough that he asked me if I could, get a portion of his table. So a guy that he's usually with wasn't able to make it to Cleveland, so I was happy to be with him this
Cool,
time. So,
cool, very
but
cool.
I'm gonna look forward to it, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it already too. So let's run the gauntlet a little bit. Jamie Burzynski, are you ready?
I'm
All right.
ready.
So stub or full?
I would go with full now.
Why?
So
Why?
just because of the rarity of them. I mean, the things that I collect, you see some stubs, and if you can get it in a full, it just makes it that much more rare. And they're beautiful. These World Series tickets, they were made to be collected. So just great artwork on a lot of them.
I agree. So PSA, Beckett, or no slab at all?
I would have everything PSA'd if I had the room for it. The problem I have is I have to keep a lot of stubs raw just for just to put them in a safe deposit box or to put them wherever. You know, I think PSA is good just because it shows on the flip what happened, and that's what I like. I don't worry about it for the authenticity. I just like to know what's on the flip.
Gotcha, I do too. Debuts or moments?
I'm definitely a moments guy.
I know you are. I know you are. Signed tickets or unsigned tickets? That's also a pretty easy one.
I like the signed tickets now.
I know you
I
do.
do.
Kind of like a little bit of double rarity. You got the real rare ticket and then autographed on top of that. Kind of
And
makes it more
I'll
special.
say something about that. I wish. Well, you can see behind me. I've got. If you see that, that's Gibson, and I am so fortunate that one time I asked him to sign every World Series game that he pitched, because I don't know how many of them are out there, and that's what I'm going to say for some of these people that are getting autographs. I hope they continue to get them autographed because, I mean, people are going to have these collections for years upon years. I mean, we're just caretakers of this stuff. So I wish those 1950s or 1940s stars had some signed tickets just for people to see now because I like it when people get tickets signed.
So do I.
So.
So do I. Let's keep going because we're losing you a little bit. That signal's getting a little funky, so we want to make sure we get everything we get everything recorded. So PSA 10 ticket or a PSA Pop 1 ticket, Jamie?
Pop 1.
Yeah, I figured so much. All right. Sam Usual debut ticket or a Bob Gibson debut ticket? Which would you rather have?
Musial.
Why? Just rare, Usual
Rare.
Cardinal ever.
I'll show you this too. I picked this up. So this was actually at the last National, and that had the booklet for the Pittsburgh Pirates, 1941. So if you look on, that's how they look there. But basically on September the 23rd, you guys may have seen booklets like this. That was Musial's first home run. So this happens to be a proof booklet, but I just thought that was really neat to have Musial. So.
Very cool. Bigger baseball saving moments or moments: the McGwire Sosa home run chase or Ripken breaking Gehrig's game played streak 2-1-3-1?
Well, I'm going to say McGwire.
Yeah.
That just captivated everybody and everybody around my area. So.
Can I tell you honestly, Jamie, both of those events, the McGwire Sosa was amazing, and Ripken chasing Gehrig's streak too was amazing. I mean, growing up and being in and around that and following baseball and kind of seeing the way it saved baseball, both of them to me are tremendous. Roger Maris debut ticket or a Mark McGwire debut ticket?
That's a tough one. I would still go with Maris just because I like the vintage stuff. You thought I would probably say McGwire, but
right.
I'd probably go with Maris.
No,
Uh,
I don't know. I mean,
I,
look, you're a vintage
I,
guy, so I wasn't so sure. I
that,
wasn't
that's
so
the
sure.
thing. I have his 62 and 70th and have those autographs, so I'm good with that. I can't even tell you what a 1987, I guess, A's ticket for McGwire looks like. So I don't relate him to that. He's a Cardinal.
I got you. I got you. Better investment, or I like to call it store of value, because I don't really know that any of this stuff is truly an investment. But better store of value: Ruth home run tickets or Mantle home run tickets, or Ruth World Series home run tickets or Mantle World Series home run tickets.
I would definitely say Ruse.
Just
Just
because vintage
so
nature.
much harder to, yeah, it's so much harder to get.
Um, so who's going to have better stuff in Cleveland, you or your dad?
Well, Dad brought his stuff. He may have better stuff there, but nothing gets sold when he goes to Dad.
I
It
know.
just goes in the vault.
I know.
So
I know. Well, your dad's great. I'm looking forward to seeing the Burzynskis in Cleveland. I am looking forward to the National. Thank you, Jamie Burzynski, for being a guest on Stub Luv Live, and I'll see you soon.
thank you for letting me show off my collection. I don't do this hardly ever, so I appreciate your
Well,
time.
thank you for doing it for our audience, and we appreciate it. I'll see you soon, my friend.
See
All
you
right, be
later.
well. Bye-bye.